I was on a vacation.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's good. That's well deserved, I would say. I hope you've had some nice time to relax.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Wow, this is a great score. I'm just looking at the very few marks off. Fantastic, Suhan.
Hmm.
Congratulations. How does it feel a couple
Yeah.
weeks after having found out?
Oh, it still feels really weird.
Yeah.
Like I kind of expected it, but it still feels like I'm slowly getting in that, like I'm slowly preparing myself for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, big transition. The big transition from India
Yes.
to Canada. So that's wonderful.
Yes,
Uh,
definitely.
yeah. I was also expecting this. It was for me, it was more what score would you get? That was the thing that I was most curious about. So it's great to see some of this. And even though there's few marks off, I'm still slightly surprised, I have to say, with the marks that were removed, but I don't know. I mean, whatever. It's a good score. It's a good score. It's fine. So yeah, if you want to mention, we'll just go through the whole thing. And if you want to mention anything specific about any individual pieces, then feel free. The more that our
Sure.
students can glean from your wonderful advice, the better, obviously. So yeah, the first, yeah, 13, this is one of the ones I'm surprised about. Yeah, you have wonderful, wonderful light drawing. Um, I'm surprised they found two marks off here. This is, in my mind, this is at least Sheridan first year, uh, quality, at least.
Hmm.
So yeah. How did you approach your life drawing, Suhan? You began pretty early. You obviously came to our Monday night
Yes.
sessions. Um,
Yes.
were you and you did maybe did you do some in person or were they all using our
No, we
razors?
don't. Like in India, it's very like it's almost really rare to find a regular
Yeah,
life drawing class or something.
sure.
So most of I think all of these I did in like from photographs
Yeah,
only. So yeah,
yeah. Well, that's great considering you managed because it can be challenging sometimes. Sometimes photos feel
yeah,
different, but I mean, you'll have a bit of an adjustment when you have in-person models every week.
yeah.
But it is great. I mean, both are helpful, and I'm glad that you made this work, and glad the Monday night sessions
Mm,
were helpful for that. That's great. Um,
mm,
Character rotation. Okay, so this is really glad this worked out with the with this little
yeah.
frog traveler guy. So this is a perfect mark character design. That's great. Um, yeah, you had quite a few variations and revisions for this guy, I remember.
Yes. This is actually the character design that I did submit last year,
Yeah.
and uh, and that time it also got like a 15 out of 15, and so I
Oh,
thought
great.
I might as well just like redo or just
Sure.
improve it.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and I still felt like a little underconfident with this one. Like
Sure.
from the entire portfolio, I felt a little underconfident with this one,
Yeah.
but then eventually I guess it worked out. And
Yeah.
the decision I took to redo this one was just to save time and give more
Okay.
time to other topics.
Yeah.
But then I eventually just kept redoing it until like the last week, and so
Okay.
that was something that I regretted a lot, that I gave it a lot of time.
Yeah. Too much almost like too much thinking around it and like all
Yeah.
the possible, changes or
Yes.
what have you. Like there's always ways to change it. And if you ask like even like 10 people in the program, you'll hear 10 different opinions about what changes
Yes.
to make. And what one of the biggest things I think about as an instructor is what like there's all kinds of changes I could think with every student's character, but what are the changes that are mark distinguishing? Because sometimes you
Hmm.
make cosmetic changes and it's pretty much the same thing, and that wouldn't have affected your marks at all. What are those changes that actually affect marks? That is a harder conversation, and Luckily, one that you don't need to think about, Suhan, but nonetheless, that's what I try and think about sometimes. Okay, great. Your short animation. This is a great one. It's right here. So, for anyone watching, this might feel very silky smooth, very, you know, very buttery. What was it, Suhan, that led to that very smooth feeling to the animation?
I think a lot of it was trial and error.
Yeah,
I I hear a lot of people really going in depth with the theory of animation,
sure.
stuff like uh, where to do keyframes and where to do straight ahead animation.
Yeah,
And I feel like I still don't understand the theory part, as in
sure.
the what everything is called. But then
Yeah,
there's a lot of instincts that took place with this one, where
sure.
something just felt off and I just kept fixing and fixing everything.
Great.
And a lot of this was straight ahead animation, which is
Yeah,
why it feels sort of smooth.
yeah,
I think that's probably why it looks like that.
yeah. Didn't you also animate it on ones or no?
No, I animated on twos.
Oh, it is on twos. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
For some reason, it's so smooth and it's like, yeah, I thought it was on ones, but wow, that's fantastic. Well, here you go,
No,
folks.
I
You don't need
think
to animate
it's
on ones to make it
animated.
smooth.
Yeah, I animated on once, but then it's 12 FPS, so it's the same thing. It's like
Oh
animated
yeah.
on twos on
That is the
24.
same
Yeah.
as two at 24. Okay. Great. And it's nice about this one is you don't have like he's not jumping around and doing gymnastics or anything. It's very
Mm, mm,
subtle. It's almost more like acting or like it's almost like an
mm.
old school physical gag like Charlie Chaplin or something. It's great. Awesome. Well, I had no suspicion about that getting perfect marks. So 13 out of 50. I mean, yeah, with storyboard I mean, actually, I am surprised about that a little bit. I thought it would have been at least a 14, but yeah, if
Mm,
storyboard is always the one that seems to lose random marks that sometimes is hard to exactly determine where they went because there's so much involved from the breedability of the character to the consistency of the character to the character sheet that they gave you, as well as the frame of the shot, the composition, the clarity of motion, the editing. There's so many things that it could be. So yeah, it's this the little cat is getting ready to do this little swim meet, I guess, or a little race, and he's feeling a little bit underqualified for this, but nonetheless, here he goes. Um, and he makes it after everyone's already well at the end, and everyone else has won, and he gets a little participate. Oh, you stated down here. That's great. Little participation certificate. That's great.
uh,
Yeah. Nice. This is great, Suhan. I mean, I don't know. I would have not probably taken a mark off here. I think it's wonderful. I like the acting in the face throughout. Like it's very expressive posing. Yeah, especially that. Like we really get that feeling.
mm.
Yeah, it's great. I don't know. Really nice. Were you surprised about losing a couple marks there?
Not really, because when we had a session before I submitted the portfolio, like the night before that,
Yeah.
we discussed exactly this, that probably the figure drawing and the storyboards will somehow lose marks because it's
Yeah.
very subjective, and
Sure.
also because I'm still not very comfortable with storyboarding. Even
Yeah.
though I try to practice a lot, I still feel more comfortable with environments and
Yeah.
other stuff, and not the storyboard itself,
Yeah.
so far at least.
That's a good transition to this just wonderful interior. I love that the story you did what I always tell students to do, Suhan. You turn the story up to 11. And boy, is this story ever maximized here. Like every single I don't know if there's a single thing in this environment that doesn't feel like it is echoing the story of the whole scene. Like if we look at these little micro things, even the way things are hung up at shabbily or the whole thing feels suspect, right? We can zoom into any part and there's nothing that doesn't feel, yeah, right there. There's nothing that doesn't feel like part of the what you're trying to tell here. And then we've got this little Easter egg down here, of course, which is kind of fun that we
Yeah.
otherwise have these like human bodies with aquatic heads, and then we have a human head with an aquatic body. So that's kind of hilarious. But yeah, really great. You were done this one a while ago too, I remember. You had quite a bit of time.
Yes.
So wow, that's great.
This was
And
probably the first piece I finished for the
okay,
portfolio.
yeah,
Uh,
wow, great. And one thing that's nice about this too is that I'm always trying to encourage folks to change up the shape of the room so it's not always just a big square. But yours is for the most
mm,
part, but you pack so much storytelling into this one small room that it doesn't
mm,
feel like limiting in any way. And also you tiled the wall. You thought about like what
mm,
this place would be like. There's just a lot of thought and consideration put into the whole thing. So yeah, in this
mm.
case, I don't even notice that it's like, just a basic rectangle, but wow, this is just yeah, I can't look at this one enough. Um yeah, you want to try something underwater, do something different, not on land?
Yes. Yes. Uh, Before like I did this one, I
Mhm.
was working on another environment which was like a Wild West where a cowboy is riding like an ostrich. And
Okay.
we had a couple sessions going through that
Yes.
one,
Hmm.
and most of the times the feedback was very, uh, it was mostly that the idea felt really so-so, and
Yeah.
almost like even though I was almost 50-60% done with the whole environment, it still felt pretty unsatisfactory. So I just
Yeah.
scrapped the whole thing and just
Yeah.
started something that felt more fun to me.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, this
Uh,
is excellent. And I love how things turned out. And I remember for a long time there wasn't even a second scuba
yes.
person. You just had the one
Mm,
but it is kind of nice to add that second one because it really gives that is one thing that's hard about underwater is changing that sense of scale. Whereas here, now that we have
mm,
the two characters and then obviously that large ship, we have multiple reference
mm,
points for the scale of the scene. So that's great. Yeah, really nice. And wow, what a great like tonal as well. Yeah, not surprised about that, Mark, that's for sure. Okay, and then there is the tremendous library of work that is your personal work, which is yeah,
yeah.
again, I'm shocked that Mark was taken off here, and I think everyone will probably agree in a moment once we see it all. Well, I guess in order of the portfolio, let's have a look at your sketchbook, which by the way, like one of the best photographed sketchbooks I've seen. It's really tidy, and yeah, I just really like how clear everything is in your sketchbook. And we've got a wonderful mix of stuff, the aquatic stuff, which is great to see to,
Mm,
reflect the stuff you did for your layout, some characters, animals, scenes from your local community, which I was really that was one thing that I was really encouraging, and I'm really happy. It's always nice to see not just characters, not just environments, but whole little day in the life kind of pictures of just like goings on of a particular spot. Um, some colored work, which even this is like fantastic, even though it's the only traditional. Well, I guess you've got a few others with color, but yeah, this is just out of nowhere, and wow, it's great. You knocked it out of the park. Um, let's see, some architecture. Yeah, I like the thinking too. Some of it is more like in perspective, some of it is more almost like a diagram, kind of analyzing it.
mm,
Um,
mm,
nice. Some food, more folks from your local community. Yeah, some great portraits here. That's great. And I've seen some of these, they're more exaggerated, some of them are more realistic.
mm.
That's great. Okay, nice. Actually, I'm going out of order here. So, oh yeah, great. Yeah, sort of life drawing-esque page. I think where you are right now, if I'm not mistaken, right? This is like your little office
Yes.
space. Great.
Mm.
some story sketches from the story that we're going to see more of in a moment. Oh, these are so fun. I'm so glad this made it. That's great. Some people were asking me like, is it okay if it's different sketchbooks? Of course, right? Like it's no problem. Just
Yeah.
whatever you have. It doesn't have to be one actual sketchbook. This is fun. Um, great. More. Yeah, I love these little environmental scenes. That's great. So like you hit
Mm.
a lot of bases with this. This is a lot of work
Mm.
in this little
Mm.
microcosm that is your sketchbook. So that's fantastic. Nice page organization too. There's nothing that feels too chaotic or unreadable. It's a nicely laid out. Yeah, that's great, Suhan.
For the sketchbooks, like you said, the presentation part, I really
Mhm.
uh, try to do that. So
Yeah,
actually, these pages are not exactly the sketchbook. Uh, like I haven't photographed. These are not actual photographs of the sketchbook. I took
sure.
the sketchbook photographs separately, and
Okay.
then I had these templates of empty sketchbook pages
Oh
that
yeah,
I took with a white chart paper in like overcast lighting
yeah,
at like sunset, and so they are like prop. They look properly photographed, and then
yeah.
I digitally imported my sketchbook photograph onto these templates
Okay,
to present
gotcha.
them well.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. Yeah, either way, it's nice and super clear. You did some leveling too, which is always great, especially with
Hmm.
ink. I find ink it really lends
Hmm.
itself towards adding little contrast bumps because it doesn't like with pencil, if
Hmm.
you have loose pencil sketches, sometimes those lighter sketches will be lost. And sometimes I guess with pen too, you
Hmm.
might lose the little bits, but overall, since it's so much bolder, the white and black really it just photographs better. Simple as that. Um,
Hmm.
okay, so wrinkled justice. Here we go. I should get these in order actually. Um, here we are. So here's your two. So these were two pieces, Suhan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're separate pieces.
Okay. Wow.
Hmm.
This was some of the earliest stuff I did with you. This was in the mentorship
Yes.
last summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Wow. Yeah,
Both
even
of
at
these
this,
took a whole lot of time.
yeah. Yeah, I
Also, me
bet.
exploring color for like the first time properly. I still
Yeah.
avoid colors though.
Wow, it doesn't feel like it. I mean, this is great. Even back then, you had these done like before the portfolio season began, and I was just like, wow,
Yes.
okay, well, what else is going to happen here? Like, you've got another many months. Like, this is a great start. Love the present. It's just so professionally presented. It feels like something
Hmm.
from a film project. Like this could easily go with
Hmm.
your well, honestly, this could be like part of your exit portfolio from the program. So yeah, don't
Hmm.
lose track of this. It's always nice to have this. It does feel like a wonderful like kind of kids TV show or even a feature. So it's a great,
Uh,
yeah, I like how themed this page is too. Well, both of them are, and very different
hmm.
aesthetics too. So it's nice to have that range. Yeah,
Hmm.
really great. The character poses, of course. We have Jeff here. This giraffe with all these different yeah, very expressed. With an animal character, you have such a good range of different stuff you can do, right? There's just like this neck,
Definitely.
like you could do that with a human, but I mean, it's not going to be that dramatic. So that's what's nice to play around with an animal character. It's just, use the unique attributes of that animal. That's great.
Uh,
One of
I
the
do face a lot of these problems. This is why I could uh, pose him pretty well. It's
yeah,
because like I am also pretty, at least for my country, I'm pretty tall and I face a lot of these things like everywhere when I go around. So
sure.
I just took those references and applied it to the giraffe.
Yeah, that's great. Nice. And then here he is here. As a maquette and some props. That's great. Were these two pieces? Yeah, they were two pieces, I guess, right? Between the
Yes, they were
3D
two
maquette
separate
and
pieces.
yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Great. Wonderful. Well, so uh four. There's four, and so we'll see the last two here. I guess we'll do the demo reel. I'd love to end with a film, so we'll do the demo reel first.
Perfect.
Who took the bomb?
Great. And all of this was created in this like portfolio year, right? I think you maybe started some of this in the
Definitely,
summer,
yes.
but no,
Yes.
you had maybe the zombie. Was the zombie one of the first ones?
No, the zombie came around September, October,
Okay.
and the stop motion animation was something that I was trying every month, and so I was experimenting and making
Wow.
trials of all sorts. Yeah,
That's great. What a wonderful, diverse reel. Yeah, it's so great. Just yeah, such a professional professional reel. So great. So let's have a look at the film here. So, oops. Uh-oh, I've opened it twice. Um, yeah, we'll have a look at this. You're not going to hear audio, Suhan, but it will be there, so don't worry. But yeah, so we'll
but
just get back and then we'll start it here. credits too, of course. Wow. Yeah. For anyone watching, that is how to present a short film. This is actually a course. This is not an interview. Great work, Suhan. Wow. And you shot all of that on your phone, right? Or something like that?
Yes, it's my on my phone, and like 80-90% of it was just me keeping the phone on a tripod and shooting it myself.
Yeah,
And some parts were with my friends or family helping me out, like all the moving
sure.
shots. So those were like my little sister also assisted me for that.
Oh,
But
great.
majority of it was just me working in my room.
Wow. That is fantastic. So you don't need fancy technology, you don't need fancy anything. You just need your creativity, which I think is such a great thing to always remind everyone that,
Hmm.
wow. Editing. How did you there was some cool editing stuff you did in there. What did you use?
I'll be honest, like I do know a little bit of DaVinci Resolve since I I make I make YouTube videos occasionally, but then
Sure.
uh, I don't really. The majority of the effects in this video were like my first time trying it out. Like the
Okay.
shots where I there's multiple versions of me, or
Yeah, that's what I was
the
thinking.
or the like there's this one sequence where there's like 50 or 60 shots like each playing out in a really fast
Yeah.
beat. So
Yeah.
that also all those things I just went to YouTube and I would search for a tutorial for what I wanted to do, and then I would
Great.
just copy whatever I
Wow.
see.
I love how
Yes.
resourceful you are. That is fantastic. And is that the the pro version of DaVinci Resolve, or is it the free version?
Yes, it's a pro
Yeah, I
version.
figured because one thing that if anyone wants to do that masking, I've done a little bit of that myself, and it does have an incredible automatic mask system now that is just like
Yes.
insanely good how well it can follow the body. And so I was kind of curious, and it's nice that it can work well even with a cell phone video footage. Like it's not like you need this
Mhm.
hyper 4K thing to have it work. You can do it with a reasonably small resolution video. Wow,
Yes.
that's awesome. Well, great work, Suhan. And it was so nice to see the storyboards at the end too, and just like the behind the scenes. I think like that is exactly
Yes.
how it should be done. So thanks for creating that
That was
model
the
for future students
yeah,
to see.
definitely.
What were you gonna say
I
there?
added the storyboards later on.
Yeah,
Like we talked about this. I One suggested this to me. Like, uh, I just made the short film earlier, but then I
yeah,
had to find a way to relate it back to animation. Even though
yeah,
I did storyboard it, uh, I got the suggestion to just include the storyboards, even though they were pretty rough,
yeah,
to just connect it back to animation. And same with
sure.
the entire personal section, to
Yeah,
somehow connect it to animation.
yeah. Great. Wow. Well, that's so great, Suhan. So I just have those questions to finish up. So, in your
Yes.
opinion, like considering how competitive everything was, what does it take to get in now?
Well, I think it depends on where you begin. Like this was my third attempt, and
Third
if you
attempt.
ask
Okay.
me, yes, if you ask me in context to where I began back in 2024,
Yeah.
I think it takes a whole lot to get like I got a 63 on my first attempt, and I had like a month or two of professional training. By that I mean, uh, I didn't even know what perspective or anatomy or if any of those things mean like prior to those month or two. And
Yeah.
so it was almost like I made my first 10-figure drawings and I just submitted the best four for the portfolio.
Yeah.
And to it. coming back to the question, it's very subjective where it depends on where you begin. I see a
Yeah,
lot of people, they have such amazing work, and I think for them it would be more towards polishing your work and fixing and getting into the little details,
yeah,
and not like entirely learning. But for I think for me, the first year was mostly about understanding the fundamentals, and then this attempt was more about polishing my skills and focusing on
yeah.
more towards the story and the presentation and all those other things.
Great. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And if you could have told a younger version of Suhan something about the process of making this portfolio, what would you have told your younger self?
Um, I would tell myself to trust the process. Like when I began, a lot of like when you see so because that's the thing with Sheridan, that you can see so many portfolios on the Discord server and the YouTube, and
Yeah,
it's very daunting to see the accepted portfolios, and there's such amazing work, and it's the
yeah,
same this year as well.
yeah,
And sometimes when you're not uh when you're not up to that level, it feels pretty daunting. That it
yeah,
feels like it lowers your confidence a little. I would just ask myself to trust the process and just keep working.
yeah,
Maybe, like, hopefully, eventually it works out.
yeah. That's great. And as somebody that's going to be entering the animation industry in 4 years, what would you like to see more of in the industry?
Less sequels for sure, because there's so many unnecessary sequels in the
Yeah,
animation industry, and it feels really repetitive right now. I would
yeah,
I would love to be part of something that's like an original creation,
yeah,
something that's fresh and new and just brings a change to the industry overall.
yeah,
And no AI, hopefully.
yeah,
Little less of that, since I
yeah,
want to put food on the table. And
yeah,
also, I would like to see more experimentation in mainstream animation,
yeah,
more of 2D work, even though I know a lot of European and the entire Japanese animation industry is 2D, but then still a lot more experimentation and fun and creative stuff that feels fresh in the animation industry.
yeah. Yeah, that's great. And I'm glad you mentioned AI too, because one thing that I want to encourage every one of our students to um, practice is to have a bit of an artistic spine and
Yeah,
don't submit to just being a manager of a machine that's just pumping out garbage. I think there are obvious spaces
definitely.
for AI in small
Hmm.
areas of software. Like
Hmm.
for example, the DaVinci, well, a lot of DaVinci's features actually are wonderful.
Yes,
Cleans up your
yes.
audio, it allows you to lengthen songs to be the duration of the,
Hmm.
it has some amazing abilities. It's something that I wouldn't really have spent time to do, or if I did, it would have been kind of like, I wish this could be faster. But so much of creative work people love, and it's good for us. It's good for us to do this work. It's good for us to learn how to draw, to study anatomy, to do things like to yeah, learn skills that we can do with our hands. I think if anything, we shouldn't make these machines that can um, even attempt to replace enjoyed work. But I mean, I know this is like overly optimistic, but nonetheless, it is the perspective that I hope more of our students share. So yeah.
For sure.
Great thoughts, Suhan. And yeah, absolutely. To less sequels and more experimentation. That'd be wonderful. Um, and lastly, just I guess if you just have any last special tips that you'd like to provide future students that helped you a lot along the way.
I've written a few of those down.
Yeah,
So wait, I'll show. So before I even began making my portfolio this year, I collected, since again this is the thing with Sheridan, that you find so many portfolios and like so many resources that you could just collect them all. So
yeah,
I printed a whole lot of uh I think you can. You could see it. I
Oh yeah.
printed a whole lot of highly marked portfolios, and then
Great.
I put them in a bunch of folders.
Yeah.
So anytime that I would refer to or begin working on a certain topic, I would just go through these works. Since
Yeah.
they are so good, you could
Yeah.
just spot the good qualities in all of them and just take something away and use it in
Yeah.
your own work.
That's great. What a great
So you
idea.
could do that. Yeah. And then uh, I heard this somewhere. It's to treat art sort of like a sport.
Yeah.
So working out would be like your daily practice, and
Hmm.
then your diet would be to consume good content, and
Yeah.
then you practice your different skills. So that's like your character design and all the environments and all that stuff, and then you
Yeah.
focus on your fundamentals. So it's like your strength training. So
Hmm.
treating it more like with a consistency perspective to
Yeah.
do maybe 2 or 3 hours of work every day and not uh like 12 hours twice a week, and also
Yeah.
starting early. Like overall, that
Yeah.
was the best part. Like
Hmm.
I was really chilled out by the end of the portfolio because I didn't have much to do
Yeah.
in February. So because I began working on the portfolio, and not exactly the final portfolio pieces, but uh,
Hmm.
started practicing and consulting you and getting critique
Yeah.
from April itself. So it was really stress free, and I didn't feel like I
Yeah.
had to rush the whole portfolio. So
Yeah.
that, and lastly to have fun, because I
Yeah.
mean,
That's great.
if you're forcing yourself to do it, then like what's the point overall?
Totally.
So
Yeah.
just since we love doing what we do, just having fun with everything, even if it's just boring practice.
Yeah. And starting early allows you to have more fun because you're not just like
Definitely.
trying to survive. You can, you can actually have time to maybe switch out a piece or two if you really need to and do another attempt. That's
Yes,
that's that's great, Suhan. And also I should say that of our complete animation portfolio students, Suhan, you are not in a super fortuitous time zone to attend our
definitely.
classes. And yet, who was one of the most consistent students that showed up to, the life drawing, the lectures, the group feedback, everything live? You would like became not nocturnal or something. I don't know how you did it, but
Definitely, yes.
you were there as consistently as folks in the Western Hemisphere. So like that was always I was always amazed, like but not surprised by the end of it to be like you're one of the first ones in the waiting room waiting for the class. I'm like, wow, Suhan is here and it's like I don't know, 4 or 5 a.m. his time. That is incredible. So just yeah, it pays off. It pays off to show up, folks. And
Definitely,
I'm so
yes.
glad that you received this score, although, a few more marks would have been fine by me, but that's fine. I'll leave it. Thanks so much for sharing your tips with us, Suhan, and good luck at Sheridan next year. I'm excited for you to also meet all of your classmates that you were studying with.
Definitely,
That's
yes.
awesome. Oh, yeah. Congrats again, Suhan. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. See
Okay.
ya.
Bye bye. Thank you
Bye.
for your help.